Hi, very warm welcome. Oh, they say the Lord's favourite pastime is justice, and boy, has it been a long time in the coming for this one. And I'm not surprised his wife has left him. You know what, Kat? Good for you, because maybe you have witnessed a lot more than what we have. We only see the better side of Ben that he wants to show us, and I certainly have been one of those in the past that have witnessed more than enough nonsense from this egotistic and egomaniac. And he really is an egomaniac, and you've only got to listen to him for a few moments in this live stream he done. I'll put a link down there in the comments section, and I'll pin it so that you can all go and have a look and listen, and just tell me if I'm wrong on this note. You know what? Fair play to her for leaving him, and I think it's better thing to do than not do anything, and just put yourself and leave yourself in a situation with, a character like this, because he's staring. I don't know whether you guys have noticed, but obviously I have had a couple of people tell me about this. He's staring at the camera like a psychopath. Now, could you imagine just having the slightest disagreement with Ben being his wife? Could you imagine what would happen? If he starts looking at you like that, knowing full well this guy's packing heat with his little, I don't know what, I don't think it's a man's gun, a Smith & West. I really don't. But, but nevertheless, it's a dangerous weapon, and you don't want to be in the vicinity of someone that's unhinged, and this guy is unhinged. You know what? It's not nothing new. This guy's been unhinged for over, a decade that I've known him. And we go back before Ben had even 100,000 subscribers. I am one of these people that when people are ranting and shouting and saying all sorts of things and making all sorts of allegations, I just sit back and wait for a day like today. You want to know why I don't like this guy? Because everything he does is motivated by the total wrong things. Money, ego, you name it. And look at the little list behind him. Yellowstone is broken. I don't even know what to make of that statement. And the other thing, do your own homework, or do the homework. In other words, he can't be putting himself in a position to explain it to you. Now, not all of us have been to university to study, geoanomalies. And that also includes Ben Davison, because he doesn't have a single qualification in the field that he's been talking about, and running down everybody else that does have qualifications in geoanomalies, like myself, as well as NASA, the ESA, and any other well-known organisation, in order to boost his followers on YouTube and also feed his ego. I completely understand with what he's written under the Yellowstone is broken, why Cat left him. And what he's trying to do in this video, Cat, if you ever do listen, which I doubt you will, but what Ben Davison is trying to do in this video is make you jealous. And I get from what his body language is and what he's doing in this video is that you are the one that has initiated the separation. And you know what? Grace of God be with you and those children, and just watch this character, because what people like him don't like is rejection. The other thing I notice is at the beginning, right off the crack of the whip, as soon as his feet hit the ground, he's selling these little plots on the land he's brought. And he's probably selling other things. I remember I looked into it once. He was selling benches. You could donate a bench for $1,000 or $2,000 or a fire pit somewhere. You know what? The last thing you want to do as a prepper is be in the vicinity of somebody like this. I'll put my hand on my heart when I say this. He is the last sort of people you want in your community, because I think he's unhinged. He's threatening YouTube that he's got multiple friends in the organisation, and clearly to me makes a false phone call to somebody and says just a couple of words like, they're doing it again. Okay, proceed with whatever. I don't know what, it's an hour long video, and I did watch it to the end because I couldn't help gloat at his downfall. His arse touched the sun, it got fried, and now he's on his way down. He is hurtling faster than a comet just fresh into our atmosphere, and it will spank the surface of the earth. And this is just a delight and a pleasure to watch for me. So, you know, I got no sympathy whatsoever for him. Not any at all. You know, he's doing a lot of other strange things. Oh, sorry, I was going to talk about this thing under Yellowstone, XDMS, Keep Clean. He's trying to put it in Cat's head that, and I don't know Cat, but I do know how men behave sometimes, especially the slightly unhinged ones. He's definitely in that category. But he's trying to put it in her head that, you know, I've got lots of women that are interested in me. Just listen to the way he talks about women in this video, and I think it's pretty much downgrading women, his behaviour. People are even asking him what's happened to you, because he's showing his true colours in this live stream. He is an arrogant, horrible person. You know, I'll just give you a for instance. Well, no, let's talk about, you know, the fact he's got no qualifications. Why would you listen to someone like this? Every question I noted that he was asked in his chat messages, he couldn't answer. Not one of those questions. And, you know, I like that, because he's been put on the spot. He's not intelligent enough to think on the spot, and he's just majorly embarrassed himself through the lack of understanding. But this is one of these people, and I get this, you know, it is a narcissistic trait to believe that you're an expert in a field when clearly you don't know nothing, but you are not going to allow the person that you're talking to even, you know, allow them to have that idea come up in their mind. If you've ever met narcissistic people, you know how they operate. They're right even when they are totally wrong. And I can just sympathise with his ex-wife having to put up with that for as long as she has. The sad thing here is that, you know, there are kids involved in this, and I just think, for the best, the safety of the children should be brought into, you know, the attention here. I'm pretty sure she's going to put measures in place to protect them. Whatever she needs to do, she's going to do it. I know that, because she's not lived with this psycho for all that time and not knew what the exit strategy would be when that point in time come. You know, he's burning in flames to the ground, guys. And you know what I am going to say, and I know I would never normally say it about, you know, people that just made a couple of comments about me, but this guy has slandered me for years, unfairly, unduly. So, you know, I am at this current moment gloating a little bit for his downfall. You know, I've had hundreds of people tell me he's so egotistic, he's so arrogant. Well, now, you know, it's all coming undone for him, as I knew it would. People will see through his money-making schemes, like the mobile observatory, which to this day I don't know what he was observing with that, other than, you know, the different states he was driving round in an RV in at the time, being funded by YouTubers under the pretext that he was observing something. It was the mobile observatory. So that's what you get, and this is what I've been trying to tell people on my channel. Have I tried to sell you anything? Ever? Mugs, t-shirts, plots of land? Do I have an internet shop? And I just want to say, do you think I couldn't have got all these things together? No? Did I ever say to you, you know, you've got to think about your safety in the future, and if you want to be a long-term survivor, you need to buy a plot of land? Just think about that and come to observerranch.com and just drop a comment showing your interest, and that will invite our attention to pick up on that. Of course it will. Well, you know, I don't really need to go on any more than what I have. I've said my piece. You know, we can just watch this fall hit the ground now. because his life is, you know, definitely becoming unpicked at the seams, and you can clearly see it. You know, I don't think if anyone does a psychoanalysis on him or evaluation, I think that, you know, he's going to be a high scorer. So let's watch this space, because it could turn into something really grievous, and we're going to get to hear about it, because, you know, he's got plenty of subscribers which will spread the word out about him. And just watch the comment section in this video that I've done about Ben Davison and the Suspicious Observers conglomerate of nonsense. Watch the people agree with what I've said about him and his behaviour. It's very rude. He's very toxic. You know, it was, in my view, something that should have come a lot earlier with him and his missus breaking up, because God knows what she's had to put up with over this time. When something don't go in, you know, in his favour, when something ain't going right in his life, can you imagine who's copping it out, can't you? So, interesting times. But if you're interested in having a listen to or making your evaluation on this video, and on the comments that I've made on what I've seen in this video, then please do. I'll leave the link, like I said, in the comment section, and I'll pin it so that anyone that comes onto this channel, the very first comment they'll see is the link to this, what can only be described as a load of drivel, uneducated drivel, backed by zero qualifications and very unscientific. As always, take care of your loved ones. Bye for now.